Hey, welcome everybody. Let's talk real estate. Your weekly BS with Barry Saywitz about the current commercial real estate market here in Southern California. As we take a no BS look at both sides of the issues driving this market today to find the best solutions going forward. With our man right in the middle, it's Barry Saywitz. Hey, Barry.
Hey, good morning, Paul, and good morning to all of our viewers and our listeners out there. Welcome back. It's Tuesday. I am Barry Saywitz, president of the Saywitz Company and managing partner of Saywitz Properties. And if it's one thing I've learned in my 30-plus years of doing this, it's that every Tuesday I come back here and we do it again and we talk more real estate, in addition to the fact that there's never a dull moment. And I would say that this week certainly represents that case. And so just before we get going with the show, a shout out to the teams that are still left in both the men's and the women's Final Four. We got a wacky week of basketball coming ahead, and it'll be exciting. Go Bruins for the women, and good luck to the rest of the teams, except those playing UCLA. In addition to that, on the economic side, we have what we'll call Liberation Day coming up tomorrow. Today is April Fool's Day, so we are not joking around. The fact of the matter is that the stock market is all over the board. The world is waiting to see what happens with tariffs, what happens with economic policy, and whether some of these other countries either cop to it, or get with the program or not. And everybody's on pins and needles. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. None of us know. And it'll be an exciting week ahead. Now, with all of that said, I want to welcome our guest, Brent Bowers with the Land Sharks, who's coming to us live from Florida. And so we got good weather there. And Brent, welcome to the show, and appreciate you coming on.
Barry, thank you so much. Yes, the weather is absolutely incredible until about Mother's Day. Then when someone sets the humidity on high, we'll be out boating this weekend. Got a beach workout in yesterday, and I was like thinking to myself, we are going to the beach this weekend. So it's as good times in Florida right now.
And actually, there's a election in Florida I was watching on the news, which I don't know if it'll have significant impact or not, but a special election. And so for those people there in Florida, 2 of them, right? And so get out and vote, even though it's not your normal voting day.
Yeah.
So Brent, your company, the Land Sharks, I want to go back to the beginnings first, and then we'll fast forward to where we are today. But you originally were in the military, and then somehow got into real estate. I guess tell us like how you originally, was there an epiphany of, gee, I think I should switch gears and get into real estate, or how did that go?
No, actually, it came after the real estate. I started in 2007, got my license, bought a rental property, and then suffered through 2008, and then quit in 2009 because it got between my ears that I wasn't going to be successful because so many people were getting out. My mother-in-law was struggling, and I couldn't afford my rent. So me and my wife and our dog moved in with my in-laws, and it was just a mess. And my wife's grandpa said, it doesn't have to always be like this. You can go back to school. You can do something different. Go join the Air Force. So that this was on a weekend. I think it was on a Saturday. Monday, I was at the Air Force recruiting station trying to see if they would take me in. And Air Force recruiter said, we're not, we really don't need people right now. You don't qualify. So go to the Army next door. They'll take anybody. So I did. I went next door to the Army. A few months later, I'm in boot camp. A few months later, I'm in in AIT. And then they sent me and my wife and my dog to Germany. And then about 3 months after that, I was in Afghanistan for a year, and then was on a back-to-back deployment cycle. And then took a little break from real estate until I got back in the States until about 2013. I still had that real estate itch. I was still reading the books. Always wanted to be a real estate investor, entrepreneur, sales, loved it. I had a lawn service all throughout high school and the latter years of middle school, and I now can call myself a real estate investor. I haven't had a real job since 2018. I'm actually, I had to put a title on myself because I'm going to speak at Career Day at my children's school on April 25th. So I am a real estate investor now is what my title is. Or Dr. Dirt, I don't know. Maybe
or when I went, I was Master of the Obvious. And so that was my title they gave me. But
I love that.
Yeah. At the office, they just call me the wallet because I'm the guy who signs everyone's checks. So It's one or the other. But in terms of the real estate, when you decided to get back into it, I know in today's world the specialty is land. Was that the specialty when you originally got in the first place?
No, no, no. When I originally got in 2007, I bought the rental property. I wanted to have rental properties, and I thought to do that, to be a landlord, I needed to have a real estate license, and that was the wrong path for me. I did not want to be showing people properties. When I got back in 2013, I bought the house right next to the college because my second deployment, my wife left me. So I was a single bachelor again. So I bought the house next to the college and then rented out all the rooms. And I was like making like $600 a month to live there. Then I bought another rental property by refinancing that second house. And I kept all these houses. And I just kept building the portfolio. And then I had about seven doors by 2015. And I was like, I can never leave my job because these doors are costing me money. Like all my Army money was paying for evictions and repairs and
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Yeah, I was leveraged to the max. And my current wife now, my new wife then, she's like, wow, you don't have any money ever and you have all these properties. And I was like, I know, I got to figure something out. So I started trying to wholesale houses and I was spending a ton of money on marketing with that. I was making money and I was still searching for answers. And I wanted to leave the military at this point. It was early 2016, January 2016. My first son was just born. And I was preparing for third combat deployment, or the third combat deployment, and I was in the field for 3 months. And I was like, I've got to figure something out so I can replace my income. I really only needed to make $4,500 a month back then in 2016 to cover all of our bills. So I was listening to more podcasts just like this, and I heard a guy talking about flipping land and making money overnight, like doubling his money. And I was like, okay. I saw the vision with long-term rentals. That was a 30-year vision. And I was like, I can't do this for 30 years. But if I can double my money overnight, I can maybe get out of the military and have time freedom. I didn't care about the getting wealthy part. I want financial freedom to cover my bills and the time freedom and eventually geography freedom. So I took immediate action. Like January 2016, I started mailing people in the tax delinquent list and I offered to buy their land. This was garbage land, inefficient, not buildable, not accessible. So I'll pause there. That's kind of the journey.
And this was in Florida, or this was anywhere you could find it?
Well, it started in Colorado Springs, El Paso County, because I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. So I really started in my own backyard, and I thought I was mailing the tax delinquent list, but this was the county held tax lien list. These are taxes people no one were paying, not even the landowners. No one would pay the back taxes because it was just garbage land. But these people were happy to hear from me, the owners, when I sent them my postcard. So we wheeled and dealed. I was buying land for a couple $100 and then selling it for $5,000. I thought I hit the lottery, honestly.
And so, and this, when you started this, right? So the concept is somebody's behind in their taxes. They've got land that's got no value, that's got no income to them. You buy it, and then who's the buyer that you're flipping it to at the end of the day?
Oh, such a good question. It was all kinds of people. The first one I ever bought was $285 in Palmer Lake, Colorado. Beautiful area, but not buildable. They wouldn't let us build because it was one ingress, one egress. The firefighters wouldn't allow to build on that strip of road because they can get pinned in there on these like hilly mountain towns. So the person that bought that land for me ended up being a real estate agent because I didn't know what the land was worth. I had it under contract for $285. Really, it was just a back tax amount. I was getting it for free in essence. And the realtor I was asking about on the phone, I was like, hey, what do you think you could sell this for? She's like, probably $10,000. And I was like, oh, wow. And then she made an offer for $5,000. So we just agreed to do the deal right there on the phone. So that was the first person. The second land deal was he was actually a mechanic. He bought 4.5 acres from me next to the Cheyenne Mountain State Park that was not accessible. It was landlocked, but he was willing to work through it and take a couple years to do it. And he ended up paying me $5,000 in payments, $400 a month.
And so The concept is I'm buying somebody's problem and making their problem go away, and then selling it to somebody else who does the legwork to do the value add, if you will, and you act and not to minimize it, but there's a place in time you're the middleman.
You got it. Like you hit it on the head. Like right back then, it was one man's trash, turned it into another man's treasure. Or woman. I sold land to women too.
Well, and some people, I assume some people buy land to land bank it. Other people buy it because maybe it's adjacent to something else that they think will have more value over time, or that they can do the value add, change the zoning, or get access, or bring in power, or whatever it is that's deficient, and then it has a bigger value at the end of the day.
You got it. There's always a way to improve anything. Just like those rentals I bought, when all of my bought needed improvement. Like the one in 2013 that I bought next to the college, Florida Tech in Brevard County. This was a foreclosed home. Like it was a dump. We improved it, turned it into a beautiful space. People are paying me money to rent. So that's like, I don't improve 99.9% of the land I buy. However, I have been improving some of it lately. We're putting brand new mobile homes on some of these parcels, which has been really fun. But yeah, most of the time the people I sell it to will eventually prove it, or maybe one day they'll build a cabin on it, or they'll build a house on it. We just got an offer today on a piece of land in 7 acres in Texas. My strategy's changed a little bit now, though. I like to buy the land that's in demand, where people are actually buying it, because it's way easier to comp it out and figure out what it's worth. It's way easier to automate offer letters, because I send out what's called land offer letters, or LOLs.
Yeah.
They get a purchase agreement in the mail. We call it a land offer letter. When they sign it and send it back, I laugh out loud because I just got a smoking hot deal under contract. But we bought the Texas land for $190, and we just got an offer today for $240, which is a little lower than what we were asking. But we're in a counter offer mode right now. But I'll take the quick win. Pay the realtors. We'll still make 25, 30 grand on it.
And to some degree, it's a volume business in that you're not getting stuck in the deal for some extended period of time, where if you have an improved property, maybe they want to wait until the rest of the improvements are done, or you've got to go get permits, and so that stuff takes time. With the land, the good news with it, at least my experience has been, there's nothing to do. If somebody wants it, you can do a quick close.
Amen, brother. That's it. Like whenever, like I'm doing a couple building projects right now, permits, and dealing with the county, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's no fun.
That's not my cup of tea. So I find partners. I call them integrators. If you're familiar with rocket fuel, I'm the visionary. I want an integrator that wants to do the daily, day in, day out, talk to the county, answer the emails. Like that's who I'm looking for. That's not me. I like to see the whole vision put together, but I don't want to be the guy having to constantly do it every day.
And are there certain parts of the country that are more, I guess, viable in terms of buying the land where there's, we're here in California, there's very little land, and the land is very, very expensive. Yeah. And so you're talking numbers where I can't even buy the sidewalk in front of me. But in other parts of the country, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, I actually just did my first California deals 2 weeks ago. I'm looking up the address right now. I did it with a partner, a broker out there. We bought 2 parcels of land in Mecca, California. We paid $34,000 for both parcels, and we sold them for $37,000 each within from the time we bought it to the time we got paid for it was exactly 30 days. So I'm pretty happy with California right now. But some ways you can find out, like the parts of the country. There's you can Google North American Migration Map. It's the website's owned by North American Van Lines, and you see the incoming states and you see the outgoing states. The incoming states are where people are moving to. The outgoing is kind of self-explanatory. But one thing they don't track is a lot of people are coming into California from outside the country, the United States. So there's still people buying and still people building. But some of the best incoming states are Idaho, Georgia. Texas is an outgoing state, but I'm still doing pretty well out there. It has slowed down quite a bit for me. Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, the southeast of the United States is just going crazy.
And so in today's world, is it still the same marketing strategy where you're sending letters and postcards to people who are delinquent, or how are you finding these deals?
So no, it's changed quite a bit. delinquent taxes, those are, I mean, you could still pop a deal out of those, don't get me wrong. It takes the same amount of time to do a $50,000 deal as it does to do a $4,700 net profit deal. So now I, go on that North American migration map, find where the incoming states are at, then go to Redfin and see where the land's selling, and then I'll micro it down to a community or neighborhood. We'll price out that land, and then once we price it out, we'll use a software program to generate those land offer letters I had mentioned. If anybody wants a copy of that land offer letter, they can just go to the landsharks.com/LOL. But we send those offers daily. That's the best method, is send them out daily. Some people will send them out monthly. I say weekly is better, but daily is better even than weekly. It's like working out. It's better to work out daily than weekly. Better to work out weekly than monthly.
And it's a marketing strategy, and so you're trickle sending stuff out, and then hopefully you get some kind of responses. And certainly the people that respond back are at least remotely interested in the concept of selling, or they wouldn't have called you back in the first place.
That's right. If they sign that thing and send it back, then they're definitely interested. And I don't want to be on the phone quite a bit. I've actually been taking my number off of these things. I don't want people calling. If you're serious, you want to sell your land, sign it and send it back. Some people will make a counter offer. Some people will somehow or another find our phone number by Googling our business name and calling my assistant and say, I won't sell for that price, but I'll sell for this. So we can, kind of gauge motivation. But really, most of these are going to get rejected and thrown in the trash. It's just a way of making a bunch of offers. And, most of the time people will say no or throw it away. But sometimes people are like, yeah, what the heck? Let's just sell it.
Yeah, and look at it like anything in marketing or cold calling or what have you. It's a numbers thing, and so eventually somebody's going to come along and want to do it, and then you actually, I've received a bunch of these for land that I own, and there's always a number.
Why are you sending them back to me? Why don't you sign them? No,
Well, now that I know where you're at and you're in Florida, I was sending them back to Colorado. I don't know if they made it to you.
I'm sure I missed out on a lot of money, but that's all right. This is a lifestyle business. I didn't get into this to get rich.
So the letter has a number in it, so there's no messing around. It's like, I'll buy your parcel for this number if you're interested, right? Send it back, or whatever you need to do to respond. How do you come up with the number?
Yeah, when I first started, it depends on the price of the land. It depends on the price of the land that it's actually worth, what it's trading for, what the retail value is. But at one time, I was just sending offers 10 cents on the dollar for everything I was offering on. But again, granted, I was doing like under $20,000 land deals back then. Now I kind of have a little bit more of a calculated method. So let's just say the land's worth $100K. And I want to make $10,000. And I sell or finance a lot of this land, by the way. I want to be the bank. I want to get monthly payments. I want to get paid as long as possible on each land deal. And if you follow what the banks do and give people mortgages and charge interest, this is the reason why they're the biggest, prettiest building in every city in every state. But going back to how I come up with the offers, I don't put too much thought into it. I keep things really simple. You start thinking too much and having too much complication, then you won't do anything.
But somebody accepts your offer, you'll write them the check. There's no, oops, I offered too much, and the guy
happens all the time. Yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, land is. I think that's why there's so much opportunity. Sometimes we'll find out, like, okay, we had a couple commercial parcels where it's like, oh my God, this is a smoking hot deal, but there's a moratorium in that area. Didn't know that when we sent the offers. So where it'd be a great deal in 5 years, so we're going to put an option on that land to buy it maybe later, 5 years from now. But yeah, my numbers are never perfect, that's for sure.
And I find that the land too is, depending upon where you are, if you're in a more remote area, there's very few comps to be able to pick, as opposed to, I'm buying a house in this development and there's 4 houses sold last month.
Yeah, I used to buy a lot of land in the middle of nowhere. There's a land buyer for every piece of land. And people love that land, especially making payments on it. But you're right, those are harder to comp. They sometimes take a little longer to sell. Sometimes you got to work a little harder to sell those. But if I buy a piece of land where I have 9 comps in the last 6 months, I'm going to find those realtors selling all those 9 comps, and that's going to be my disposition agent. But yeah, if you want to know like how to price these, here's how I do it. If the land's selling for $100K, that's the retail. and I want to make 10,000. And then I'm going to pay the realtor 6%. So let's just do real round numbers. So uh, subtract, so 100K minus 10,000 minus the 6,000 for the realtor minus, a few thousand for closing costs, minus, let's just say I'm going to get a lender on this for several months. So before I know it, I'm offering 61 cents on the dollar, or $61,000 for this land. It's worth 100K.
And for those of you who are math majors at home, you probably got all of that stuff. Otherwise, get your calculator out. We'll do it again, and we'll go slower the next time. But I get it. I guess the other question that I had for you is, so when you do go to put a loan on the land, what kind of a loan to value are you getting? Because I got to figure that there's a bank out there for every deal on the one hand, but on the other hand, there's no income, there's no tenants in place, there's no development, there's no value to the structures necessarily. And so my experience has been, at least here in California, on your best day, maybe you get a 50% loan on it.
Yeah, I've never used the bank for a loan. I bought land with credit cards, where I've gotten like cash advances, but that's super high interest, and you got to have a pretty quick exit strategy for it. But I don't want to use banks for land, because honestly, anytime I've ever been in a bank asking to borrow money, I feel like I'm a beggar. I'd rather use my own money or other people's money, or maybe Paul's money. So I'll buy the land at $50,000, and I do try and keep it under 60 cents on the dollar. So I'll buy the land for, let's just say, $50,000. It's worth 100. I'm going to pay you 9% interest on that 50K, and then I'm going to sell it to Bob the buyer at 100,000, and he's going to put let's just say $25,000 down. So I'll send that 25K to my lender, pay them down. Now I'm paying them interest on only 25 grand, and I'm collecting interest on the $75,000 note that I just created. Or sometimes I'll keep that 25 grand and just keep that $50,000 note in place. So it's almost like a positive arbitrage. So I'm paying 9% on 50 grand, and I'm collecting 12% on 75 grand.
Yeah.
So I
So
just keep it in place.
it's a game of chess or checkers or whatever you want to call it, but you're moving pieces around the board is what really it is. And so I saw some of your stuff online in terms of the videos and motivational stuff. I mean, I guess let's talk about that for a minute. In addition to being the real estate guy, you've also sort of developed your own following in terms of motivating people to get out there and go after their goals and try and do either variations of what you're doing or what you're doing out there.
Yeah, I absolutely enjoy that side of things. Like, I could sit on and talk to you guys all day long about this stuff. At this point, I try and focus on doing 1 or 2 land deals a month, just to keep building up the passive income, or cash deals. But what my true passion is, I really enjoy teaching someone how to leave the rat race, just like I was in with the military. I don't even know if you can call that a rat race. Honestly, I felt incarcerated. I was being told what to do, where to be for 8.5 years, away from my family. So if I can show someone else how to do that and build wealth in the meantime with it. And sometimes maybe I've taught grandmothers how to make an additional $2,000 a month, where they cover like their prescriptions. So we call it the Land Sharks. It's the Land Sharks method. We have an amazing community of people doing land deals. You want to go out there and start running marathons and hang out with people that run marathons on the weekend. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So I show my entire land business, and we're there to answer questions throughout the week. I used to be a seminar junkie, all these real estate seminars. But where the heck was that coach on Monday when that seller told me no or hung up on me? I needed that coach
Right.
on the phone.
And so, do you find that the average person out there has the capacity or the ability to do what you do, or that they can learn it?
Yeah, absolutely. Not everyone's going to take the action, unfortunately. But the way I've spent a lot of money and time and education, and I've taken a lot of courses, where we set up the Land Sharks, where it's not just another online course, it's a hybrid coaching, as well as instruction. Because if you give someone the simple instruction to get a result as quick as possible, like, no one wants to wait 90 days to see results in the gym. That's why people quit. But if you can get them results in the first couple days, they're addicted.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say addicted because that almost sounds like a bad thing,
But you'll
it's
keep coming. I mean, it's no different than golf, right? I hit a good shot, I'll go hit another one. If I go out and play badly, it might be a little while before I go back and try it again.
So true. Oh my gosh, we were playing pool this Saturday. The first shot I hit in, it just like slammed that ball right in the hole, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do some more of those. And we played another game, and then the second game I sucked on. I couldn't get a dang ball in the hole, and I was like, I quit. Like, and I told my wife, I was like, you take the rest of this. I didn't want to do it anymore.
But I find that for the average person, especially in today's world where people are more often than not working from home or doing a hybrid where they've got time on their hands because they're at home, or for semi-retired people, I mean, it's about financial freedom. And then, like you say, it's also about, making good use of your time, whether you want to do the things that you enjoy to do or spend time with your family. If I can do a real estate transaction where my time investment relative to the return is exponentially better, then I'm ahead of the game. And it is not for everybody, but for those who are successful with it, it is a modern day concept of making good use of your time and becoming financially, free.
Yeah, absolutely. We got guys, they'll leave. Well, we have a traveling nurse, and he was away from his children like a couple weeks out of the month, and now he's with his children all the time. Like, they're traveling in their RV, and he's doing land deals while he's on a fishing trip, and it's really cool to see people. And you're right, a lot of people are working from home, so they have that capacity to be able to answer a phone call or get that email and work that land deal in addition. I got to do the same thing in the Army. There were some times where I could check my email during the day where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got a land deal. And I would like close my office door, and my boss would knock on it. Are you doing a real estate deal? He would call me out.
Yeah, I mean, I find that it is a great opportunity for folks out there. And so for those folks listening, Brent, again, tell them the website where they can go to get more information on your program.
Yeah, check out thelandsharks.com. If you want to schedule a call, I will be actually the one communicating with you on that. And maybe you're not ready to start in land. Maybe you've got some other ideas. If I can, be more than happy to spend a few minutes, hearing your goals, and I can point you in the right direction, I absolutely will. I'll tell you what, I've been practicing real estate since 2007. I would say I probably wasn't successful with it until about 2018 when I was able to leave my job.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight, but if you can make some progress or you can make a deal, then you're ahead of the game. And so I say for all those people out there that are thinking about it, go to Brent's website, check it out. And Brent, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts with us, and wish you and your family and your business much continued success going forward. And the good news is you can do it anywhere in the country, and you can do it from wherever you are in the country. And so that's one of the benefits from it as well. Paul is waving at me that it's snack time here, and so we're going to move on to the next show. But I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. I am Barry Saywitz, president of the Saywitz Company. We will be back here next week on Let's Talk Real Estate. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you, Barry.
Well, there you have it. You've been listening to Let's Talk Real Estate, your weekly BS with Barry Saywitz about the current state of the real commercial real estate market right here in Southern California. On Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.